Okay guys, it's time to talk about training platforms. I'm talking about Zwift, I'm talking about TrainerRoad today, I'm talking about Sufferfest, I'm talking about Exert. There's a large number of training platforms out there. The landscape is kind of changing, isn't it? Because there's a number of training platforms that are coming out really low price, like Maximum Trainer, Ruby, Road Grand Tours. Yes, I know some of those are in trouble, but what I'm saying is they're providing a product that was previously really expensive for some really good value price. In fact, some of them are entirely free. If you look at like a static app type of thing where you're just getting numbers, graphs on the screen, all they're doing is taking the data from your Bluetooth signal or your Ant Plus signal and presenting them on the screen, then it's not technically that difficult to do it. And basically, products like TrainerRoad, even products like Sufferfest basically began with that kind of, fairly basic technology. So it's no surprise to me that a lot of products are coming out now at a really low price. In fact, the surprise is at the other end. How do we have these products at a relatively high price? What are they bringing to the table? Well, let's take the biggest one, Zwift, right? Zwift is the biggest one right now. What is it? Between 500,000 and 1 million users that are registered. Well, whether they're all unique users on the system, I really doubt. But, no doubt, they've got hundreds of thousands of users, and that makes Zwift a tremendous success. Zwift has one thing no one else has right now, which is a massive social platform. And that social platform shouldn't be underestimated in terms of what it does for your training. Think about it. When you're having a bad day, when your motivation is low, when you struggle to hit your targets, there's a big draw of having other riders on the field that you can compete against or ride with. Funnily enough, my criticism of Zwift is actually not that it's not like super social. That's its advantage. It's the fact that when you try and connect with friends or ride with or do something, organize rides, all of which are theoretically in Zwift, it's still a big problem. In other words, they haven't perfected the basics of getting like those social components with friends sorted out. Like, what about chat? Like PS3 or Xbox had chat for like years now, but we can't chat live in Zwift with our friends. What's going on there? Similarly, like racing against targets, racing against yourself. Now, they're perfectly capable of doing this. Remember, we had the Blue Ghost system in the past. These days, we don't have the Blue Ghost, thankfully, but there's nothing to stop Zwift developing one Blue Ghost, which would be your avatar, how well you're doing on that previous ride, like Alpe de Zwift. And they already have the data, because if you ride Alpe de Zwift, which is their big climb right now, you notice your sector times against yourself are there in the app already. So it's not like they didn't have the capability to produce like, the best against your best self in the future. So come on, Zwift, work on that. And my other criticism of Zwift is they've got massive venture capital funding, only beaten by Peloton, by the way. That's another story. But their rate of development is very slow. In my opinion, it's relatively cautious. Yeah, they do come out with new maps and new things, new course designs, but how often? How often realistically? Like, out of about, 6-7 years of Zwift, we've got like 6 or 7 courses, haven't we? So basically they're coming out with on average like one major course per year. Yeah, maybe an extension or two, and everything's welcome. But when you're riding that same course again and again, like how many times do you have to ride like the volcano circuit? It's the same old thing. And nothing that's like non-normal riding has come out, apart from one thing. Let's give them credit here. They're coming out this year. Okay, it's experimental with their off-road mountain bike course and also their steering facility. I don't know whether that's going to be good or not, but what I'm saying is, in my opinion, just from the social element alone, Zwift earns its price. And I was lucky to be one of those guys that joined when Zwift was entirely free. So I had Zwift for free for quite a while, like 6 months or so. And then it was really decent value, like $9 a month, $9.99, and then $12.99. It's gone up to $14.99 a month. That's pretty high. But like I say, I think it earns its value on that social function. So let's leave Zwift to one side now. Zwift does have one thing, that I haven't mentioned is relatively underdeveloped, and that is workouts and training plans. But most people wouldn't go to Zwift looking at workouts and training plans, would they? They'd look for more like training orientated app. And really there's two that are kind of competing, in my opinion, head to head, and that is Sufferfest and also TrainerRoad. So let's have a little think about those two. Sufferfest is was a big success like 4 or 5 years ago, and maybe it's less successful in the last year or two because it hasn't brought that many features to the market, but it's recently been acquired by Wahoo. They're doing quite a bit behind the scenes to try and improve it. And Sufferfest's kind of USP was it's kind of video based. So you get their videos on the screen at the same time as those like candlestick workout metrics, which Sufferfest and TrainerRoad did from the beginning. So the ability to ride in that kind of world of video is good. Look, it's nothing like as powerful as live riders with Zwift. And actually I will give Sufferfest a criticism here. And that criticism is when you're riding against a video, your performance is not synced with the speed of that video at all. So it's not like you're going like fast downhill and the riders are going fast downhill. No, you're just watching like a passive video on the screen that they've done. And yeah, it's better than nothing, but it's no different to watching YouTube or watching a movie, a cycling movie, and putting that on the screen. And TrainerRoad allows you to do that now. So basically TrainerRoad is like your candlestick or number numerical workout overlay, or it can be full screen. And you know, that's a feature that, in my opinion, it's hard to justify their price. So if you look at pricing, you've got Zwift, $14.99. You've got Sufferfest, actually that's coming in at the best price. I think it's around $12.99 right now. And I think their annual price is only $99 a year. So actually, if you're talking about paid apps, Sufferfest is a really good price. Plus, you've got an optional 2 weeks free period. And by the way, we've done a little request on your behalf to Sufferfest to say, can you do anything for our viewers? And they're going to give us a code for 1 month free. Sufferfest 1 month free. I'll put it in the description below. But you should really make up your own mind based on whether you think this app or this app is best for your training style. So what about TrainerRoad? Well, in terms of pricing, TrainerRoad's pricing is not good. It just keeps going up and up. And this year, just recently, they've put it up to, I believe it's $20 a month, and the annual price is around $190. And to me, that's too high for what they're bringing. Now, they would say, hang on, what we're doing is we're bringing like our knowledge of training to our app, and we can prove it's successful. Actually, go on to TrainerRoad website and go down into evidence. You'll see that their evidence says 13% improvement in ability per hour of cycling. That's their headline. That's their headline. So look into that study that they cite, and you'll find that it's a study from 2007 involving only 8 cyclists, 8 female cyclists on an indoor spin bike for like maximum 2 weeks. I mean, it's pretty much the poorest study you can find. And as far as I can tell, it's absolutely nothing to do with TrainerRoad. Why are they citing on their front page of their website this, let's be honest, pretty ropey study, which proves pretty much nothing, but it has this headline claim? It's quite ridiculous. Now, there's no doubt at all that thousands of riders have signed up to TrainerRoad. Thousands have been successful. But here's another oddity of TrainerRoad. Go onto their website and ask what of their workout plans should you do. They say 99% of riders should do sweet spot base. Well, how is it basically everyone needs to do sweet spot base? Surely everyone doesn't fit into one box. Surely everyone's not a beginner, not advanced, not intermediate. Not everyone's got the same training goal. Not everyone wants to ride hard, medium, or low intensity at the same frequency. That's why we created the time in zone calculator. That's why we created the training periodization planner, to actually match your training goals against the training plan. Yes, you can match that against one of our Training Peaks plans, but you don't have to. You can create your own plan relative to time in zone, relative to hours on the course, relative to your own goals. But to say 99% have to do sweet spot based, that's quite ridiculous. And it's not like sweet spot is naturally the best for everyone. Look, if you're not riding, then doing more volume at any intensity is going to be good. I'll admit that. And generally doing a higher intensity, as a rule of thumb, will buy you bigger gains, but it comes at a bigger risk. And that bigger risk is burnout, complications, injury. So if you just set somebody going on sweet spot forever, it's not going to work. And even as a startup, it's not necessarily going to work. Yes, it works for a lot of people who are starting afresh. I agree. But to say that one training plan, one program works for everyone, that is ridiculous. And for TrainerRoad to say that at this day and age, I just can't understand that. Having said that, having said all that, it is a decent platform. In my view, it is overpriced, but you do have something that's free on the TrainerRoad program, which is their excellent podcast series. And we've gone to the trouble, if you want to look at it, of summarizing their podcast, because in my view, the weakness is having done, 250 podcasts, each one of 2 hours, each one containing at least 20 questions. That's a lot of material. It actually adds up just purely on documented questions, 1,500. How would you know when they've talked about sweet spot, like sweet spot versus base training? When would you know how that comes up? It's almost impossible to search it. So we've cataloged the whole thing for you and put it out there for free. It's basically a free download here. Well, not a download, it's one of our spreadsheets. Log on. You can search all of the questions that you want about training and hear how TrainerRoad answers it. Look, I'm not saying TrainerRoad always gives the correct answer or the best answer. They don't often cite that much evidence. They don't provide any visuals. They don't provide many follow-ups. They do have a forum where you can check out those things. But, let's give them credit where credit's due. That podcast series has been running a long time. They've answered a lot of questions, and some of the questions aren't answered easily elsewhere. However, there are gaps, like try and look up what they say about polarized training. It's almost not on there. Like TrainerRoad is like deniers of polarized training. There's like one thread on the forum which looks at polarized training, but other than that, they don't like it. And that's because their model is that sweet spot model, and they want to draw everyone into that sweet spot model, which I think is a big mistake. Now, they are working on things. They've got some kind of workout creator that's been around a little while. You can ride outside on TrainerRoad now where you couldn't before. And they're also doing something about a matcher. I haven't seen it in detail, but matching your intensity to your riding style in terms of prescribing workouts. They've got over 1,000 workouts on 100 training plans, but that's exactly what the others have too. Sufferfest has around about 1,000 workouts, and actually their new app enables you to search really well. Better than any of the other apps, you can search through the Sufferfest workouts by all sorts of criteria to match exactly what you want. What about Zwift? Well, Zwift has a huge number of workouts now. You can change and exchange workouts with your friends, which is really cool. And also they do have like mini training plans. It's not as good as the other two more training focused apps, but it's coming along. And certain, good quality, high quality coaches such as GC Coaching has done certain training plans and certain workouts, built it on certain workouts within Zwift. The problem is, as has been critiqued on other YouTube channels like Dylan Johnson, they're somewhat haphazard on Zwift. Like they haven't put really that much effort into training plans and also workouts, in my opinion. No doubt that will improve, but that hasn't been their focus so far. So I guess what I'm saying is look at the strengths and weaknesses of each program, look at the pros and the cons, look at the costs, look at what their main objective is, look at what they're gonna bring to your cycling. Like, I'm criticizing TrainerRoad's price. It is high, but if you're using that regularly and it's improving your cycling, that is money worth spending for sure. I mean, it wouldn't cost you much more than their $20 a month figure to have actually a proper coach telling you what to do. We do online coaching with Beretta, with Intervals ICU for around $35 a month. You know, it's not that much more than 20 a month for just a static program. But look, I'm not saying what you should do. The point is, do whatever improves your cycling, for sure. There are other programs out there. Exert is a fantastic program. Scientifically, it's probably the best one on the market. The evidence base, the evolution, the technological advancement of Exert is pretty much second to none. They do have some kind of training matcher, which is actually quite clever, where it looks at your riding history and decides what you should do. By the way, they all differ also on what metric they take for your peak, i.e., you know, like the FTP test. So Sufferfest USP is the 4DP, which is a really nice system to look at 4 time points. I think it's 5 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, and 20 minutes. And you do your best power in each of those domains. And then it will tell you, okay, we rank you as X, Y, or Z. We're going to have an even better ranking system on Fast Fitness Tips coming out real soon. We're just perfecting it, but I'll do a dedicated video on that. If you want a little sneak preview of that, it's fft.tips/rankme. Okay, so there are other platforms out there. I mean, you tell me, which platforms do you like? Which do you think is the best value for money? Which would you recommend to your friends? Like, have you tried them all? And are there other platforms out there? Of course, there are at least 20 other alternatives out there which you think are worth trying. You tell me what you think is the best training program. The bottom line is, if you find a program that works for you, is reliable, reasonable cost, and it's improving your cycling on a weekly basis, then, you know, it's probably worth it. It's probably worth it no matter what that program is. Whether you're really a social person and you need that deep, like, immersion of other riders, or you want more like a static training program, or you more want like a training plan and workout, or you want like more video-based, static video-based, you know, they're all options. All right, guys, I hope that was useful. Just a narrative review on the training program platforms that are out there, easily available and commonly taken up. As always, see you in the next video and happy training. See you around, guys.